So we actually went to the same high school. And in high school, well, I didn't know her, but she knew of me.
I thought he was an asshole, actually. Like, he was terrible, and I did not like him.
And I ended up graduating early, and when I came back for the summer, we started hanging out in the same friend group. And then we kind of started to become really, really good friends. And then we would go off and just start to hang out, just the two of us. But we started off just as really good friends. And then the more and more we hung out, it kind of started to blossom further from there.
So yeah, I knew of him. And I feel like he knew of me because, like, we had some of the same friends growing up in middle school and high school, but no, we didn't really talk. And then we ended up in the same friend group somehow, like, towards the end of high school, like March of that year or something. So we started hanging out like that, and then just kind of grew into a really great friendship where we would hang out just the two of us instead of the whole friend group. And then we got closer, and then I would say the concert in Minnesota was where we were both kind of like, yeah, I'm starting to feel something here, you know, like it's not probably just friendship, which I was kind of like, I don't know, I wasn't really happy to be in the same friend group as him to start, because I'm like, oh, this douchebag.
We went with a couple other friends, but during that time we went and were able to start to hang out more intimately, I guess. Just walking around together and starting to get to know each other even better. And then after that, it was kind of just like in my head, I started thinking, you know, there might actually be something there. But obviously we're such good friends that I'm a little nervous, and I'm like, I don't really want to ruin this because this is such a great friendship, and I don't want it to, because once I've committed to it, I can't go back. It's just out there, so.
It's like, I can't, but no, he turned into a lot better of a person when we became friends versus, you know, like freshman, sophomore year. You know? I don't know. But yeah, that's how we met.
After that, our first real date that we went on was we went to Worlds of Fun, and that was a real test.
Yeah, a road trip as a first date is really interesting. You learn a lot about the person you're with. Just really test your patience sometimes. But we were definitely like in like the peak honeymoon stage at that point. So I mean, we were just having a good time. So
when you're sitting there in line just waiting and the heat's just beating down on you and you've been there all day, and
you know, you have to get a fast pass. That's what I learned from this trip. Don't have a fast pass, you're going to be sitting in line for like 2 hours each ride. So that was a test of patience. It had nothing to do with him. He's great. But
we went with another couple, and they went, and you're doing the games, and so obviously it's like I got to win a teddy bear or something. And so we're doing all these different games and stuff, and it's just, it was exciting during that time just to be able to let loose and kind of have fun, really, more along the lines of a couple at that time.
He really was. No complaints up to that point.
I didn't get the teddy bear. It was, it was one of those games where you toss the ball and you try to get it to land in it, and it wasn't for lack of effort. It just didn't happen.
Honestly, I just kind of like had a feeling. I don't know when this feeling occurred, but I was just like, I just know that this is going to be the person that I marry. And I used to tell him that. I'm like, you're going to marry me someday. And then he just like, what? Who knows what's going to happen? Whatever. You know, you want to play games like that. But no, I just knew. I just had a feeling, like, because we meshed so well. Like, I've never felt so comfortable around anyone so quickly. And I think it also helps that we were friends first. Like, he knew every embarrassing, terrible thing about me before we ever started dating. So, I mean, yeah, I think that was really helpful. But Yeah, just over time. I mean, I feel like it was within like 3 months, because we went on a trip to Canada when we had been together for, I think it was only like a month and a half, and he was, yeah, and he was already like, and it was with his whole family on a houseboat for 7 days, no internet, no nothing, no air conditioning. I know. But yeah, even on that trip, he had told me, like, I feel like you're the person that I'm gonna marry. Like, obviously we had ups and downs between then and 6 years down the line when he actually proposed, but yeah, I feel like I even had an inkling then, like, this would be serious, and I also really love his family, so I really got to know them well on that trip, and so that kind of solidified it for me. Your family's not too crazy, I can handle this, so.
Well, I'd never really been that close with really anyone for a lot of my life, and the first time that I considered it was actually one of our first times really even hanging out. It was after high school graduation. They have this after party type deal, so we're hanging out up at the high school, and then we leave and we end up going to go get some coffee. And we're sitting there with one of her friends, and her friend goes off and she says something, and in my head I'm just thinking, that might be the dumbest thing that I have ever heard someone say in my entire life. And then Sierra goes out and she says it, what I was thinking, right to her, and I'm like, wow. You're something else. And so honestly, at that point I was just like, you know what, we think so similarly, and the fact that you were able to just express everything that I was thinking is something that at the time for me I kind of struggled with a little bit, and I think that's when I started to consider that this might be a person that's actually good for me in the long run. So it's a kind of a funny story, but no, it for me it was genuinely like kind of what flipped the switch for me. So.
Maybe a little bit. Like, I had thought, like, it's definitely love that I'm feeling, but I don't know, like, that I want to share that just yet. Like, I kind of wanted him to be first. It wasn't like a conscious effort, like, oh, I would be saying I love you right now, but I'm going to be facetious, and I'm not going to let him know. It wasn't like that.
My love just kind of steadily grew over time, as we just grew as individuals and grew together. But I was the one who ended up saying I love you first, and we were just hanging out, and then I went and picked her up, and we were just kind of driving around one day, and it was right after a big storm had happened, and we're kind of just driving around and looking at the damage of everything, and then we end up pulling off into this Target parking lot to just kind of figure out what we're gonna do next. And right where we're at, the sun sets right down, and the lights just kind of gleaming. I'm just looking at her, and I'm just like, wow, I love you.
He started smiling. He's just like that. I was like, what are you doing? Because we're just watching the sunset, and then he just kind of like blurted it out, and I was kind of surprised, but I was like, well, I love you too. But
it wasn't even something that I was thinking about. It was just something that I just felt.
No, I thought it was really cute because you could tell it was genuine, and it like came from the heart. It wasn't like a planned, like, I'm gonna tell Sierra I love her today. It was just like, Up
before that point, I had never really told someone that I had loved them, and it was something that it was a feeling that I felt like I needed to express, and I think that in that moment it showed a lot about what kind of impact she had had on me to allow me to just feel like I can just express myself in that way. And so that's how it started. And obviously, there was a long pause. No, right away she just said, I love you back. And no, that was a good feeling. I'm emailing the planetarium back and forth, And because obviously I can't just be like, yeah, I'm going down to Kansas City. Like, I can't just leave. She's gonna be like, why are you down in Kansas City? I want it to be somewhat of a surprise. And so then I have my brother call me, and I put it on speaker, and I have him be like, hey, so me and my girlfriend were thinking about going down to Kansas City over spring break. Wanted to see if you guys would come. I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, I think we can we do that? Yeah, okay, yeah, we'll do that.
Him staging this phone call with his brother about going down to Kansas City, I didn't hear that entire conversation. I don't know what I was doing. I was in the room, but like I wasn't paying attention. Like I just kind of tuned it out. So that didn't really work. He just told me, he was like, hey, Nick's girlfriend Liv wants to go to Kansas City. I don't know why, but she really wants to go there for spring break. I'm like, okay, like we can go. I don't care. I'm not doing anything else over that weekend.
So then I'm emailing this planetarium back and forth, and they get everything situated. They're like, all right, cool. And then when I'm making this video that I'm going to play there, I'm so concerned afterwards, like, because I can't go down there and hand them a flash drive. I'm like, is it going to transfer effectively, or how is it going to show up? Because they haven't ever done it before. So I'm just sitting there, I'm like, okay, how is this actually going to come together? And then I'm like, okay, you might want to make sure you get your nails done, or like then about her hair. I
started to get kind of an idea that he was going to propose because the dude doesn't care about my nails, like, ever. And he's like, oh, you should probably get your nails done. I'm like, since when do you care that like whether or not my nails are done? Like, boy hands. Like, I can't. Literally little boy hands.
And then her hair was turned into being just a absolute mess for me, because the deal was, as far as planning goes, because she was supposed to go and get her hair done like, I think like 2 weeks before we were supposed to go. So I was like, all right, cool, that's all set in stone. And then her friend, who's her hairstylist, her cat died. And so she couldn't do that. And so they canceled. And then she's like, okay, well, like, we can just do it next week. So I was like, all right, that sounds good. And that's going to be on like a Wednesday. We leave on a Friday. And so we go. I'm thinking, okay, that's all good. It gets to that Wednesday. She's like, I actually didn't know this, but I had made plans to hang out with my grandparents. So I'm not going to be able to do your hair.
I also was like, Ryan, she can't do my hair. Like, I don't know what to do. And he's like, oh, it's all good. It's all good. Like, who even cares? It's not like anything's going on this weekend. And it, like, really pissed me off. I'm like, are we being so for real right now? There is no way you just said that to me, because I, like, had a feeling that he was going to propose. And I'm like, I am not going with my roots grown out like this. I'm not doing it. You can't pay me to get photographed like this.
Yep, she tells me this. And I'm just like, oh, like, it's no big deal. I'm freaking out inside. I'm like, how am I going to make this happen?
I call my sister. I'm like, Caslin, I need you to just be real with me right now. I don't want you to tell me anything, but do I need to get my hair done? And she's like, I don't know, Sierra, do you need to get your hair done? I'm like, Caslin, tell me if I need to get my hair done. She's like, yes, you should get your hair done. I'm like, thank you.
And she goes, and I'm like, oh, don't worry about it. It's not like it's a big deal. We're not really doing anything. I'm trying to play it down. She's like, what? Because she might have had some sort of an inkling at this point. And she's like, I'm so confused. So then we go, and I immediately, I'm just like DMing this girl. I'm like, please, like, answer. Like, you need to get your hair done. Like, do her hair. This is happening. And then eventually I do like a True People, because I don't have her number. So I do a True People search, find her number, call her. She doesn't answer the first time. Obviously, double call her. She answers. She's like, hello? I'm like, Megan, it's Ryan. You need to get her hair done. I'm proposing to her. And she's like, oh, no way. Okay, yeah, we'll make it happen. All like, so she goes and she takes some of work off early so she can get her hair done on Thursday. So then when we leave on Friday, we're all good to go.
Anyways, and then Megan texts me back. She's like, actually, I can do your hair tomorrow. I'll just take the whole day off. I'm like, oh, cool. So then I got my hair done, and it was all good there.
Friday rolls along and we're driving down. We go pick up my brother in Lincoln and start heading down there. And obviously this entire time, my heart's just pounding out of my chest. I'm freaking out.
The morning of, like, Ryan was like pacing around the house, and normally, like, when we're going on a trip or like anything, he's the one that's like sitting down doing something else, not packing until like 10 minutes before we gotta leave. And then he throws some t-shirts and some shorts in a bag and he's like, I'm good. That was not the case. He was like panicked. He's pacing around. He was worried about his shirt and like the wrinkles in the shirt. And I'm like, you need to calm down. Like, you know, we're gonna be there on time. Like, we don't have to be at the planetarium until like 5. So anyways, this made me start feeling like, okay, it's probably gonna happen at the planetarium, but I had never been to a planetarium, so I had no real idea of like how it was gonna go down. But also another thing that gave it away, he asked me like, I don't know, a few weeks prior, he was like, hey, I just feel like I don't have enough of our photos together. Like, you have all the photos, and I just would really like them to be on my phone, so you should send those to me.
We get down there, we go to the hotel, we go to get something to eat. Sierra's getting dressed to go to the planetarium, and I'm trying to keep it like, oh, this isn't a big deal, we're just doing something fun. Even though she's probably thinking like, oh, it might happen. So
I'm like, okay, so planetarium plus he's gonna do something with pictures because he really likes doing like video stuff and that kind of thing. So anyways, so I just knew that it was probably happening at the planetarium. But again, I didn't know what was gonna happen.
And then we go to Subway and everyone's getting food and I'm starving, but I can't eat. And because I normally get spinach on my sandwich, I'm like, the last thing I want is to be smiling and then there's just spinach in my teeth. So I'm just like, okay, I am not eating. I will save this for later. And then we get in the car and we're like running just on time, maybe slightly behind. And then we go, and I don't really know where I'm driving in Kansas City, but then I miss our exit.
Come to getting to the planetarium, Ryan does not care normally about being late, which sounds really bad, but like he's just so like chilled and like does not care. He's like, we'll get there when we get there. And then driving to the planetarium, he's like, shit, I missed the exit. He's like freaking out, and I'm like, calm down.
So we have to continue going. I'm like, this is terrible.
Like, we literally like switched roles. I was like, we'll get there when we get there. Like the planetarium's not going anywhere. Okay, they're not locking the doors. Like, you can't go in there, you know. So and he's like having a panic attack.
And then you can't just park there. You have to pay, but you have to download their app in order to go there. And we're running behind. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
So we're sitting in the parking lot for like 10 minutes, and I'm like, can Nick not do it? Like, can someone else do it? Like, I don't know. Can we do it when we get inside? And he's like, no, I need to scan the QR code once the app downloads. So anyways, that was a mess.
So I had to download the app, pay for everything. I'm like, all right, let's go. And at this point, I'm just like delusional in what's all going on. And I'm just like, okay, we get into it, and it's like their Union Station. So they have a whole bunch of other things, and it's hidden away. And we go down the escalator, we're trying to find it, and there's this big sign. I'm like, where's the planetarium? Where's the planetarium? And then there's this big sign behind me that says planetarium. And then there's like, it's right there. I'm like, oh, okay, let's go. And then we go walk up to it, and they're just like, I didn't tell them either. They were just planning on myself and Sierra showing up to it. I didn't tell them that my brother and his girlfriend were gonna be there, but they just played right along with it. They were like, I was like, yeah, I called ahead for Ryan Chanezes, and they're like, yep, we have you right here. You can come right in. And they play it way off. And during this time, I'd actually discussed earlier, because the box that I had the ring in, it was too big and it'd be visible for her to see. So I was like, all right, Nick, you're gonna hold on to it. That's my brother. And then I'm gonna guide Sierra into the room. I'm gonna reach back like a baton. You're gonna hand it off to me, and then we'll walk on in.
We get into the planetarium, and I thought it was weird that he pushed me in first. I was scared. I was like, what am I walking into? Like, do you have something in here? Like, I was scared. Because normally I make him go first. I'm like, this is a dark hallway. I don't know where I'm going.
And that's exactly what happened. She was wanting me to go first because she's like, I don't know where I need to sit. And then I'm like, get in, like reaching back for it, get in the ring.
You know, and he made me go in first, and I was like, that's weird. But apparently that was the baton handoff. And the other weird thing, we go in and there's like these two like giant love sack beanbags in the front, like in the front row. I'm like, Ryan, I want to sit on the beanbags. Those look so comfy. He's like, no, I think we should sit in the front row chairs actually. And I'm like, lame. Like there's no one else in here. I want to sit on the beanbags.
They start the guided tour, and we had talked over email that the cue for when the video would start would be like, okay, well now we're gonna take things back down the earth, and basically my video starts with like a Google Earth spin and zooming into the first picture that we took together, and then they end up going, while we're doing the star show, they go, let's take things back down the earth like 5 times. And they're just taking things back and going back and forth. And I'm just like, you gotta be kidding me. Every time my heart stops and skips a beat. And then I'm just like, I'm going through this emotional roller coaster, just waiting like, okay, how is this even gonna turn out?
I'm like laying here, like waiting, like just watching like this whole show about space for like half an hour. And I'm like, okay, so maybe it's not happening. Like, and I was like waiting. I'm like, I feel like it's gonna be something with pictures, but I don't know what it's gonna be.
It goes on for probably like 20 minutes doing that, and then eventually it clicks on and my video starts playing.
So it was like 30 minutes of like anticipation, and Ryan's hand is sweating. Like, are you okay? Like, because again, he's so like chilled all the time. I was like, why are you freaking out so bad? Like, you act like you don't know if I'm gonna say yes or not, you know?
And we're watching it. It's just a like video montage of all these different moments in our lives and stuff like that. And I just look over at her and she's starting to tear up, and I just start to tear up, and I'm like, oh my God, this is terrible. And then it gets to like the end of it, and I'm like, all these moments that we've shared have led up to this one.
He got me up. My hair wasn't messed up because I wasn't on the beanbags.
I picked her up and we walked out in front, and I turn around and I get down on one knee, and I just said that you're the person that I want to spend the rest of my life with. Will you marry me? And obviously she said yes. She's been waiting for a long time, and she so then I gave her the ring, and right as I go down on one knee, behind it writes out in like a constellation, it writes out, will you marry me?
There was this random light over here, which come to find out was a ring light from the photographer. I'm like, where did that come from? So that was crazy. I was like, whoa, I did not know anyone else was in here. That's wild. Yeah, I had no idea. I kind of like blacked out a little, I think.
And I paid a photographer, and they were hiding out back, and then they pop up, start taking photos.
And I was ugly crying, and I was like, God, can you just give me a second? So yeah, I'm an ugly crier. I was like, get that camera out my face.
I just felt so relieved, one, that she said yes, and then the biggest relief was that it all kind of just, it worked out and everything turned out perfectly. So that was the story of how we got engaged. It was a very stressful journey for me, but it happened and turned out good.
There's a lot to love, actually. I would say what sticks out to me is how comfortable he makes me feel. Like, it's been like that since day one. I've never felt so comfortable around a person, or like I could be myself or whatever. I've never felt any sort of way about that. He doesn't judge me for who I am, and I appreciate that. He's also really loving, and I really like that. He's very outgoing, and like he always makes people laugh and smile, and I like that about him a lot. I guess I love that about him. You asked me what I love about him. And I love how hardworking he is, and he always makes sure that we're taken care of, and yeah.
That she has one of the most infectious smiles that I've ever seen in my life, where she walks into a room and she can immediately make me laugh. She, just from her smiling and looking at me, and just the amount of love that she shows to everyone, no matter if it's her first time meeting them or 100th time, she's still going to show everyone the same amount of love. And I think that's something that is truly inspiring, just to be able to go, and the amount of love that she has to give doesn't seem to end. And that's just incredible. And I'm so lucky to be able to experience it.
God. So I'd never been on a houseboat or anything, and like when we went into Canada, like they were really strict. Like I've been to Mexico before and they don't really care. They're like, welcome, you know, and you go into Canada and they're like, what school do you go to? Why are you here? Do you have business here? Do you know someone here? Like they're kind of crazy. So there was that, and we were both passed out in the back of the car, like all the way up there. His dad drove us up there. So there was that, and then on the houseboat, tons of mosquitoes, no air conditioning, and like all we basically ate was the fish that they would go out and catch during the day, because you're on a houseboat. Like, so you just have like processed food basically, no real cooking. And his what are their names? I can't remember their names. It's someone in his family. They're very like religious, so they would not let us like even sit together on a bed when there's like nowhere else to sit in this houseboat. They're like, no, God would not like that. Okay, chill. We got like 3 beds in one room. We're not getting down like that. I just, yeah, but there was no air conditioning, and Ryan always jokes that it was fine. He's like, there was fans, you know, like it was fine. I'm like, no, it was hot. It was like 100 degrees in there. And at night, trying to sleep in that, no bueno.
7 days.
Yeah, it was a week.
So humid.
I wanted to go swimming constantly, and his whole family was like, Sarah, why do you want to go swimming all the time? And I'm like, because it's hot and I like to go swim, you know? And then come to find out, we were like in the car, like driving out. Like we had just gave them back the houseboat that we were renting, and we were driving back, and they were like, I can't believe how much you wanted to go swimming. And I was like, why? Like it was hot, you know, like it's summer, I enjoy swimming. And they were like, yeah, but with all the like snapping turtles in there, like you're so brave. And I'm like, snapping turtles? No one told me there was snapping turtles. And Ryan's like, yeah, you didn't see them like right off the edge of the houseboat, like right there was a ton swimming right there, like right where you were jumping in. And I'm like, and no one thought it was important to tell me, like giant snapping turtles, like could take your arm off. And no one thought it was important to let me know that. So, that's ridiculous. So then I was thinking back, and I'm like, no wonder none of y'all want to come swim with me. I'm like, I'll go swim by myself. I'll go swim across the lake alone. And like, no one would go with me. So
I guess one of the funniest moments that I can remember is because we captured on cameras. We like to go do putt-putt all the time. And we went to this putt-putt place called Jurassic World, and they basically have like a bunch of like dinosaurs and stuff and a bunch of different obstacle courses. But so the whole time, like I'm narrating our putting, like I'm just like some PGA golf tour guy. And we get to this one spot, and they have different things that you spin for different areas of the competition, I guess, to make it more difficult on some people. So we spin it, and it's like a behind the back shot. And so then I hit mine, and it hits perfectly right off of this block and goes to the right, exactly how it's supposed to be. I'm like, oh, perfect shot. And then Sierra gets up, and I'm recording her, and then she hits it, and it hits the one spot that you cannot hit. And I'm just like, the one spot she couldn't hit. It was just a funny moment, because I mean, we look back on that time, we laugh about it all the time, because no, that was like we'll go putt now all the time. We'll just quote that, and no, so that was a funny story.
okay, so 5 years from now, we're probably gonna have kids, I would think. God willing, we'll have kids. But I just never want to lose sight of our relationship and how important that is, because, you know, kids grow up and go out of the house, and I just want to make sure that we're happy with where we're at. And I also want you to know that I love you very much, and we've had a really crazy journey together. And I'm just excited to see what happens over our marriage. So.
Well, Sierra, we have been through so much, the ups and downs and different struggles that we've gone through, and you've been with me every step of the way. And I'm so excited to be able to have the opportunity to spend the rest of my life with you. And if I ever do something that's annoying or gets on your nerves, just know that I still love you, and I always will. Like the person that I'm by far the most thankful for throughout our entire relationship would have to be Sierra's dad, Mike. He has, from the first moment that we started dating, he has just been there to support us and genuinely support me, because there have been times where either I haven't had a job or I've been struggling, and he's always been there to help me out. And I can genuinely say that, I mean, you can even tell, like, it kind of breaks me up a little bit how, like, life-changing. Like, I would be, God. My life would be completely different without the guy. So, yeah. I'm very, very thankful for him.
Gotta say thanks to both my parents for helping me with my life and the wedding and everything, and just for being there for me. And then Ryan's dad for being so helpful in our relationship, always kind of guiding him back gently. And then I guess my siblings, because they've always been there for me and been, I don't know, they're my best friends, so gotta thank them for that, putting up with me.
Also, my best friend Tyler, he's like, I've been best friends with him. We've known each other since elementary school, and he's been with me every step of the way, and he's been there all throughout our entire relationship, and always been someone that I could go to and talk to about everything. And he'd just sit there and be like, "You're an idiot, dude. Like, she loves you." And he's always been very supportive of us and everything that we've gone through. And I'm truly just grateful to have such amazing people in my life. Definitely very lucky.